For this video, I'm going to show how I made this interlinked two-tone macrame bracelet. So to get started, I'm going to take my button. For me, I'm using a pink button because one of my cords is pink. So taking the first holding cord, I'm going to thread one end through one of the buttonholes. And then working into a buttonhole next to that one, I'm going to thread it back through the other side. And then I'm going to match up the ends to find the centre, and then pull the centre to the middle of the button. And taking the next colour holding cord, I'm going to repeat this process. So now I've got my holding cords on, I want to take my working cords in the same colours, and I want to match the colours of the working cord to the space that I used for the holding cord. So matching the pink with the pink, I'm going to thread through the same buttonholes that I used. And then I want to match the ends to find the centre. And I want to repeat this with the last colour. So you'll end up with something that looks like this. So now I want to attach the button to the top of the board. And next I want to take my colours and put them into the correct order. So purple wants to be with purple, pink wants to be with pink, and here obviously it depends what colours you've used, but match your colours to each other. And then you want to find your holding cords, which will be the shortest ones, and attach those to the bottom of the board. And repeat this process at the other side for the other colour. And you can sort out any tangles here as well while you're doing it. And once again attach this to the bottom of the board. If you've got a big enough clip you can use it for both cords, but if not you can use two. So the pattern for this is just going to be square knots and then linking up your centre cords. So doing your classic square knot, you're going to go over, over and through, under, under and through, and you're going to do this at both sides. Once you've done one square knot at each side, you want to switch over the colours for your middle cords. So now when you do your square knot for your next row, you're going to be using one of each colour. Once you've done both those square knots, once again you're going to take your centre colours and switch them over. So now you're going to be back to doing a square knot where both sides are the same colour. And you're going to repeat this process of switching the centre cords after each set of square knots all the way down to the bottom of your bracelet. So once you've got your bracelet as long as you want it to be, you're going to end up with something that looks like this. So next you want to add your buttonhole. And for this, I match the colours back up to each other again at the bottom. Putting one set of the colours to one side, you want to take the rest and clip them to the bottom of the board. Obviously you want to leave one cord out for working over your holding cords here. Then you want to do hitch knots, so that's over and through, and then under and through. And how many of these you need is going to depend on the size of your button, so you need to measure this as you go along just to make sure it'll fit through at the end. But however many you do for the first side, you want to repeat the same amount for the second side. Once you've completed your first half of your buttonhole, you want to take the other colour and do a mirror image of what you did on the first side. So again, working hitch knots, you're going to go over and through, and then under and through, and do the same amount of knots as you did the first time. This is what's going to create the gap to put your button through. So once you're satisfied that your buttonhole is going to be the right size, you can take all the cords in the centre and then attach them to the end of the board. But what you're going to want to do here, if you have got shorter tail ends left over as I have, you can take a couple of your longest cords and then attach the rest to the board. You see here I've got small tail ends. You may have to hold them just to do your square knots over the top. These little ends here can just be pushed into place while you do your first knot. After that, they'll stay in place for the rest of them. You can keep adjusting everything just as you do your first one, just to make sure everything stays nice and tidy. And once you've done your first knot, they will stay in place for the rest. Once you're happy that you've got enough square knots to keep everything in place, you can end up with something that looks like this, and you can remove your bracelet from the board. Now you want to take the ends and you want to trim slightly up to the bracelet, but leave a little bit of space here because you want to melt this end. Obviously you don't have to use a lighter here if you don't want to, you can use glue instead. I just find the lighter quicker and more convenient. So repeat that on the other side and seal. And instead of doing a knot at the end like I sometimes do, because there's quite a lot of ends here, I'm also going to trim these ends off and melt to seal. So trim them close to the end, but not so much that it'll all fall apart, and then seal it with your lighter, or with glue if you're using glue instead. And if you have any strays like that, you can just trim them at the end as well. And that's your completed bracelet. So now you can just try it on. And that is your finished bracelet.